Are you a real estate agent who just passed your test, or an agent that's trying to make a change to a new office and you're just not sure where you should go? So you should go to a big company like a Keller Williams or a RE/MAX, or maybe a small brokerage that you have in your local town. I'm gonna break down the positive and negative, what it's like to work for a big company or a small company, and stick until the end. I'm gonna give you the 3 top questions you should ask any brokerage before you go work there. You know, this is probably the number 1 question I get from every new agent that hits me up. Hey, I just got my license. Like, where do I go work? Do I go interview? Are they interviewing me? What do we do? And I think the biggest mistake most agents make is they just go work for the wrong brokerage. Working for the right brokerage is so important to be successful in real estate. We're gonna break down which one is best for you and why. Not every company is meant for everyone. Some people need a big brokerage and some people need a small brokerage. But if you don't know what to ask and which one is for you, then you're just gonna make the mistake. And you shouldn't know these questions. You're a brand new agent. I know when I got in the industry, I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea who to interview with, how it worked. I actually interviewed with Keller Williams right away, and I almost signed with them before I interviewed with anyone else because I just didn't know how it worked, who I asked questions. And I remember like getting all these letters in the mails from all these brokers trying to hire me and things like that. And so it's very confusing. And so, like I said, I think the biggest mistake most agents make is they just don't interview with enough brokerages and they don't know what to ask, so they always go work for the wrong brokerage, and then 6 months later, you're out of the industry. Remember, 87% of agents don't make it past their first year, and we're gonna make sure on this channel that you're not one of those 87%. So let's break down the positive of working for a big company. 1, definitely the name. I know too many people say, oh, what company you work for, the name doesn't matter, and I do agree with that, but being a new agent, it is nice having the Keller Williams behind you or the RE/MAX behind you, because when you say, hi, I'm an agent with RE/MAX or Keller Williams, people already know who you're with. If you say you're with Resilient, like, people don't know what that means. So it's very important that, yes, it does help you in the beginning with your branding and when you say who you are, especially I think if you're gonna be an agent who cold calls and door knocks, like when you knock on a door and say, hey, my name is Adam with RE/MAX, people already know who you are. Or, hey, my name is Adam with RE/MAX, they know what company you're working for. It's a trusted branded name, and that is definitely helps when it comes to a big company. Number 2 is that they do have training in hand. Yes, it might not be so hands-on, that we're gonna hit that later in the negative points, but they do have good training. They do have systems in place. It's proven. They have the money to pay for all the top-end gear. They can bring in coaches and things like that. So yes, the training is good, but it's not as hands-on as a small company would be. The third thing is that it is a cool thing to work for a big company because you have possibilities to network with other agents. You know, if you work for this company, then you can reach out to this agent, like maybe in a different market. Maybe you can do referral business. You know, all these big companies throw massive events in areas like Vegas every year. And that's a cool experience to go to as an agent. The one advice to you, because you're obviously a new agent, is like make the best out of this industry. If there's a networking event, go to that networking event. If your brokerage shows a huge event in Vegas, go enjoy being a real estate agent. It's not just all showing houses and doing deals. Enjoy it. But let's talk about the negatives, all right? 1, the negative is it is a big company. And so you're just a number to them. You're someone that they bring in, and then if you leave, they move out. It's harder to get a hold of people. You know, like we actually work for a big company right now, and that is the one downside that I really hate about it, is like if I'm trying to get a hold of X person, most of the time I have to shoot an email. It takes a few days to get back. But when I work for a small company, I just walk one office over, knock on the door, and they were able to help me. So definitely bigger companies do hurt you when it comes to that, is that you just have, you know, more people and they have to be more efficient, and you're not gonna always just be able to jump on the phone with someone. The second negative thing about working for a big company, there's just more red tape. They have more guidelines, they're a bigger person, they have lawyers, they have so your marketing pieces have to be approved by them. They might not let you do certain things that a small brokerage would. Not saying that the small brokerage should let you do those things, but they just have less red tape because they're a smaller brand, and Keller Williams and these bigger companies have more people looking at them, and so they just don't want to get sued, because at the end of the day, like, they have to worry about those things. So definitely there's more red tape when working for a big company. And the third thing is just turnover. So like when you go work for someone, say you really like that office manager or that broker, or you have some agents you really like in your office, there's a chance that they're not going to be there in 6 to 12 months. You know, they come in, maybe they have to move to a different office in a different city. Maybe this office is not doing so well, so then they move them, or they fire that person, or that person moves on. So that's the harder part too, is like the person that probably hired you on, just be prepared they might not be there in 12 months because, you know, they're just in that position. When you work for a smaller brokerage, you know, that person owns the company. Unless they go out of business or they retire, they're not really going anywhere. So it's more of a, you know, that person's still gonna be there to help you out. So that's the big reasons why you should work for a big company and the 3 reasons you shouldn't work for a company. So now let's talk about working for a small company. So like I said in the last part of the video, is the positives of working for a small company is operations are a lot easier. The person that handles your check is right next door. Your broker is one office over. You're not having to email out trying to find where your check's at, or if you have a broker's question, or maybe your team lead. Everything is in-house and right around you. So that is definitely one positive thing when working for a small company. The second thing is yes, the training may be not as good. There are some small companies, the training is amazing. I know there's brokerages in my hometown like Nest, their training is amazing, but not every brokerage is the same, and we'll go what certain questions you should ask so that doesn't happen to you. And the third thing is just access. And what I mean by that is just the ability to get in and out of the office whenever you like. It's easier to get a hold of your broker. I mean, that was a big thing when I was a brand new agent, is like, you have questions, who do you ask? You got to ask your broker. So having the ability to, you know, talk to that person right away or knock on their window and they're always there for you, is definitely a positive when it comes to being a brand new agent and working into an office. But now let's talk about the negatives things. So like I said already in the last one, is the training might not be as good. There's a chance that your training is not as good just because they don't have the resources to be as good. You know, if your broker is 65 years old and you're 30, you know, they've been an agent for 35 years, they're not gonna really know the tips and tricks how to do business as a brand new agent. Yes, the training is more hands-on because there's less of you, but it might not be as good. The second thing is that it really matters who works there. There's less people there. You're gonna be relying more on the agents around you because you obviously, like I said, like they don't have the access and the big training and maybe all the staffing that a bigger company has. So it really matters who works there, because those are the people you're gonna say day in and day out. You know, I've noticed over my few years of being in real estate that, you know, the smaller companies, there's less turnover than the big companies, because the big companies kind of hire anyone they want, and then, you know, obviously 87% of agents don't make it through the first year, so then they leave the industry. But smaller companies have to be a little bit more pickier on who they hire because, you know, there's less of them. And so really focus on who's working in that company, because that might work for you and might not. And then the third reason why working for a small company is not as great, it's just the rah-rah is not there. And what I mean by the rah-rah, this job is very difficult, and there's gonna be low times and there's gonna be high times. But when the low times hit you, you gotta be around. You might not have the motivation or the people staying on top of you, or that person you can go to that's their job is the office manager to keep the morale up. Or they're not gonna have the huge events or the huge Christmas parties that are really cool when you work for a big company. So you just have to realize that when you are in a smaller company, you are gonna be kind of more on your own when it comes to those things. And if you can handle getting through those things because you don't really need that, then a small company would be great for you. So I broke down the positive and the negative of big companies and small companies. And I'm gonna give you my experience because, you know, that has worked for me. When I first started as a new agent, I actually interviewed with Keller Williams, like I said, and I was really close to hiring with them. And I looked around and they had good training and they had the rah-rah and they had all these things. And then something hit me and I went and interviewed with 2 actually smaller brokerages in my hometown. And when I went there, I just felt like they were more me. Like I said, there was less red tape. They let me do what I wanted to do. They said, this is the access that you're gonna have. This is how we help you. And I already had a coaching program before. I thought that was really what helped me really well in my career, was I had a 90-day coaching program before I got into real estate. That's gonna be another video, stick forward to that one, but it just felt like it fit me more. So you're probably thinking, but what do I do for myself? Well, these are the 3 questions you need to ask when joining a big brokerage or a small brokerage. Number 1 is, where's my training? Where's it gonna come to? How often is it? Who's gonna be training me? Who is that person? Why should they be training me? That's gonna be really huge for you. Who's my mentor? You know, a lot of these companies want you to work for a mentor being a brand new agent. If your mentor does 10 deals a year, they're not gonna really be able to help you become a good agent. And if they do 40 a year, they're not gonna have time to actually help you. Question number 2 is, ask what agents are in the office. If it's a big company, ask, who's the number 1 agent? Who's the number 2 agent? Who's the number 3 agent? How many deals they do? How long they've been in the industry? Because if those people have been real estate agents for 30 years and they do 20 deals a year, well, you're not an agent that's been in the industry for 20 years. But if you go to a company and they're like, hey, this person's been in the industry for 2 years, this person's been in 3 years, this person's been in 4 years, they're kind of around the same age group as you, and these people are doing 20 deals a year, then that company's probably gonna be better fit for you because they're showing you that they can take someone who's brand new and get them to do deals just like you wanna do. And then the third thing you should ask for, and the last thing you should ask for, and the least important out of all of them, is commissions. What are you gonna pay? And why I say this is last, because at the end of the day, if you're getting true value and this company is gonna do more deals for you, then you know what? Commission doesn't matter. And I think that is the second biggest mistake agents make is, one, they go and work for the wrong brokers, but two, they work for the brokers that charge them less. And what you're gonna learn in this industry, if someone's charging you $4.95 a deal, they're not gonna do anything to truly help you grow your business. Because the question to you, if you were only getting paid $4.95 a deal, would you get into real estate? Of course not. It's too much work, it's too much headache for that little bit of money. So don't worry about the commissions, worry if the value you're gonna get for what you're gonna be paying for. Make sure you click here for the next video, because now that you've figured out what company you're gonna work for, big or small, the second question you gotta ask yourself is like, do I work as a solo agent or a team? And this video right here will explain which one would be best for you.